And good afternoon. I made it. My time management skills are terrible. And at 12 o'clock today, I had no idea if I was actually going to make it today or not. It was a little bit hectic. At 10 o'clock this morning, I had plenty of time. And then at 12 o'clock this morning, it's all of the stress hit. It was not necessarily fun, shall we say. But I'm here. We're going to build some more Lego today. We're going to carry on with the Porsche 911 and see whether or not we can get bags 3 and 4 done. Start to get the back end of the car looking a little bit more complete. And yeah, on that note, let's get on with it, shall we? Now, does everything work after setting it up really, really quickly? Yeah, not completely. That's interesting. This worked 2 minutes ago. It's cool. In 2 minutes, my entire OBS studio has completely and totally crashed on me. Let's see whether or not we can get that working a bit better. It's we have a webcam, but it says it is not doing any tweaks here. Let's try just unplugging stuff and plugging it back in again. That sometimes works. No, we're now green instead of a red screen. But according to my Stream Deck, I don't have... Ah, there it was. It just appeared. Drum roll, please. Yay! There we go. We have a desk cam. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties when you're already stressed. Not necessarily the most fun thing in the world. But here we have the Porsche. We have the chassis as it was made last week. So this is bags 1 and 2 already built up. I've tried to give myself a little bit more space on my table today. I've moved the laptop to a completely different position. Let's get on with the bags then. We need our book, of course. And somewhere in here, we should have bag 6, bag 3. Now, is that the only bag 3, or did bag 3 have multiple bags? I think bag 3 was only one bag. So let's put these back, put the box on the floor, and get sorting. So have a look. Is a book more visible there than it was last week? Yeah, I think that's reasonable. So I hope you've all had a fantastic week. It's I hope it was more full of Lego than my week was. I've been itching to carry on with this build since I stopped last time, but refused to get it out and carry on. This one has to be my Sunday afternoon build now on the stream. Right, so we have some new bits, and these really are a funky little bit that we have here. If I remember correctly from the interviews that I've seen, this is a very special curve that was built specifically for this set, because the current curves that they had in the Lego mold set, they didn't quite give the right shape to the back of the 911. And so they needed to do something just slightly different. Otherwise, it was never going to look quite as it should do. We have 2 of those, one for left and right, of course. Again, can I get the book nicely in vision? And then we start with the wonderful meditation of sorting Lego. And I've got to see whether or not we have any more interesting names that I can come up with this week for the different Lego bits that we come across. Let's see, we've got some more interesting bits. At least we have kind of Technics things here that we're gonna harpoon through the middle with a cross, and we have angled connector bits. So last week we just had a load of connector bits. This week we have angled connector bits. We have some more ordinary stuff. Oh, I feel guilty for saying that. 4 little pieces of Lego. You're not ordinary, you're all fantastic. And then we have some curly bits, some half curly bits. I wonder what that bit's going to be going towards. I was expecting to see that when we came to the roof. I wasn't expecting to see that just yet. But we still have a left and a right. We have corner pieces. These ones kind of look more like they belong in a modular building to make the roof edges look interesting. It'll be fun to see what that goes into on the car. We have two of those. Some standard 1x4 full height bricks. Lots of these black 1x4 flat planks. A couple of shiny planks. Our corner pieces. A red shiny strip. A red shiny strip that says Porsche on the back. So that one then, let's see if I can show this the right way up for you. This one then is going to be our brake light for the back of the car. I can guess where that one goes, just thinking about what the back of a Porsche looks like. We have some red snot blocks here, so we can build on the side. I wonder if that's what that Porsche sign is going to mount onto. Some full height corners, some flat corners. We're getting quite a gamut of different Lego building blocks to go onto here. Some upside down. Are they upside down? Yeah, some upside down slopey bits. Some roundy bits that are going to hook on. I guess that's going to make the side of the car if I don't, destroy everything I've just laid out. So I think this one, looking at the amount of bits that we've got here, I think this week we're going to start to actually see some building on the outside and actual things to start making it look like a Porsche, as opposed to a weird chassis that you have to try and imagine where everything's going to go to. Wow, there's a lot of sets here. We have brake lights. This is definite brake lights and indicators. I don't know if that comes across that well on the stream, but it's a clear 1x2 window and half of it's painted red. I imagine that's also quite specific to this set. I have a couple of 1x2s with one doppia in the middle, sneaking my Dutch in there again. That one should go on this pile, of course. We have the opposite side to that wing bit. Lots more rounded edges to make the outside of the Porsche look cool. And then loads of tiny little pieces. Let's see if we can get these organized and start building. We have more shoes. And again, I am so totally amazed at the designers that can turn these things into something that looks so spectacular, like a finished Lego set. Some grates to go on the back. Some more flat pieces and lots of hooks. That's going to be an interesting one. I wonder what the hooks are going to hook onto. We have 3 of those. It's the second one of those. We have a grey shoe, 2 black shoes and 1 grey shoe. We have some double-sided lanterns. And at some point here, we come down to all of the little individual bits. We have a nice little grill. A nice sloped grill. See what that one goes on to. Another grey shoe. You know what? Sorting Lego is so great for meditation. Unless you start to stress about it taking too long and are we going to have enough time to actually start building? Then sorting starts to kind of get the stress going again. But we'll get there. All right. almost at the end now. All these fiddly little bits. The ones that turn into the naughty doppies when they bing across the room when you try and fit them together and they miss. So loads of little white tiles. This is going to be a very fiddly section. I can feel it. We've got so many tiny little bits that we have to put together. It's going to make life a little bit interesting for us. But interesting builds is what makes Lego builds fun, so it's not bad. Some more red stops. And one last. So there we have it. That's all of the bits that we need for this build. So let's get the chassis in and get starting again. And we're going to start with 2 corner pieces, 2 full height corner pieces, our 2 gray shoes that we had, and a couple of these red doppies just to fill in the space. And the first thing we have to do is put these red doppies onto the gray shoe. And then we can get the chassis across and start to build things together again. So, where does this lot go together? Well, I think let's turn it around so it matches. We have the red doppies. Where do the red doppies go? Ah, they go behind the gray doppies like this. So that one's going to go there as well. And then these shoes come onto each end like so. The first parts of the rear end put together. I must admit, I'm really amazed that we're building the outside of the front of the back of the Porsche before we actually start on the engine. Because somehow, when all this is built, we've still got to put an engine into this space. I wonder how fiddly that one's going to get. So now we need our lanterns. We need a couple of black inches. And then we need our 4 flat 1x2s, one of which is just pinged across the room. And the 2 grills. And I don't think you've missed that much, Flo. It's the most that I've done today is just open the bag and try to get it a little bit sorted. And tried to see whether or not I can make any more space on my desk. And you missed the technical issues I had at the start when for some reason my webcam was outputting nothing. It worked 2 minutes before I went live and then stopped. And Martin, that's a really good question. How are you doing, Martin? I want to see photos of your 911 on Twitter if you've got started. It's I want to know whether or not you're going to be able to give me advice later on, or whether or not you're staying behind me so that you can see my mistakes first. So we need to build up some steps here so that we can have our grills for the outside of the car. I think I need to get a better webcam. Oh, I love this idea. Are you game, Martin? We can get you on stream. We can share your cam and my cam, and we can build together and see how far along we are together. Let me know if you're up for this. We can arrange it. And on each of our lanterns, we're going to put a doppler on the end. Lego has such a satisfying click when it all goes together. So now our dopplers I keep on pulling this thing apart. The back end that we put on last week, it comes off so easily that every time I move the model, I always pick it up by the wrong bit and pull it apart. So we have on one side, you know what? It really helps if you read the instructions, Stacey. We have our grill on one side, and we're going to learn our lesson and put the grill on the other side. I say we have to arrange this. It's, are you on Twitter? If you're on Twitter, give me a follow. Let's get in contact and get this set up, because I want to see how we can get this organized. That would be so cool to do. And step 90. We're up to step 90 already. And yet we're still only at this stage of the chassis. So we can put the chassis to the side for 1 second. We're going to make 2 different pieces for the back. And we need all 4 of our upside down slopey bits. We need all 4 of our 1x3 white planks. All 4 hooks. We need 6 of these weird gray things. 4 more of these red doppias. And what else do we need? We need... I really cannot read instructions for the life of me. 4 flat tiles. And then the last one, of course, I put it right in the middle just to make it really hard to get to. These wonderful Technics type pieces that I guess we're not going to impale because we're just going to build across them. So we need to build 2 of these. So let's put one next to the other. We need to put a white tile across the side. Put a grey doppia on, and I'm guessing that goes into the other one. And then we need our 2 red bits on the outside. Hey, Jess, you made it! Good afternoon. And, well, you know, you say I can put them together. I just had to change one of them because I so did not read the instructions literally 2 seconds before it went up. And we're got a deal from Martin, so let's get that organized this week. And let's see whether or not we can work together and build some cool Lego stuff. So there's the beginning bits. Now we have to put these across the top. And here's where it gets impaled. Look, that middle one goes right through the hole. So now we have our 2 blocks made. We now need to finish them off and make them look pretty. So we can put the white tiles on. Oh, this bit I hate. I don't know if anybody else has the same issue as me, but I really hate it when you put on a 1x1 brick and it isn't sitting exactly straight. I get told off when we're doing family builds because when everybody else puts them together and then the build comes for me to have a go, I end up spending 10 minutes trying to straighten everything up before I even put my first brick on. But I think that's straight. Now we can turn them on their side and we can hook these into it. And that's why we have these weird little gray bits, because, can we get that to the camera? We're actually going to click into the side of there to put this on. And yep, they so totally 100% have to be on there straight. There's nothing worse than looking at it. I mean, it's sitting in my office all week. And if I look over and see it and there's bits on that aren't straight, I have to pick it up and try and fix it. My poor boss. So we'll put these on the side again. And then we finish off the last two pieces. And then try and see where this is going to go on the car. I wonder if that's going to be a wheel arch. That is indeed going to be a wheel arch. So we need to get our chassis. And this comes in behind here. Clicks on between the two. I love how they made this. I would never have thought to put something together like this to span the middle without actually having a brick across the top of it. So there we have our first semblances of a wheel arch in place, and there's me destroying the back of the car again. Seriously, that is going to annoy me so much constantly. Right, step 91, where we're going to need some uprights, some slightly round bits. You know, I've got two because I'm planning on doing left and right together, but the actual instructions only for one here. Let's see whether or not they do go onto the other side immediately or whether or not I've just got this for nothing. And this needs to be on this side of the car. And we put the upright at the end. We put Can you see this? Let's move it under the camera again. I have got to find a much better place to do the building because this desk is far too small. It's great. When I brought it last year, I brought it thinking that I just needed to put a laptop on it and not take up too much space in the room. Apparently I was wrong. I wasn't thinking ahead. And then we put the rounded bit on the top. And we're starting to get just that little bit of the shape at the back of the Porsche coming through. No, I was wrong. We don't do both sides together. So I can move these ones back over and see what we're building next. We need another corner piece, one of our square pieces. And this all comes in front of our bridge. So we put the 4-piece on the end to join it all together. And then we go around this connector piece with that corner there. And I break the back. Why did they put this on this early in the build? It's not supported by anything and it's not needed yet. And it's just annoying. Right. And before we turn around and do the same to the other side, question from Martin. Did you already decide on the turbo or the Targa? I haven't yet. And I'm thinking what I might do here is put it on as a Twitter poll. So if I do, please share it and see what everybody wants to build. I kind of like both of them. And I'm probably going to end up doing the second one later on anyway. But for that first build, since I'm doing this all on camera, I thought, you know, why not let other people decide? And we have Eldert. Hey, Eldert. Good afternoon. Building along on the Apollo Saturn V whilst watching you build the Porsche. This is how a Sunday should be spent. I totally agree. I loved building my Apollo Saturn V, and so that I can try and save just a little bit of my funds, I'm actually considering an amount of the builds that I've already done of dismantling them and then bringing them back on into the build so I can build it all again. And, you know, who knows, with a Saturn V, maybe I can make less mistakes because I've already done it once. Maybe not, you never know. So now we get to build the other side. So we get our other upright piece. We get another corner piece, and we get our last rounded piece, and we start to build the other way. Can you see that? Let's move it. Seriously, every time I destroy the back of this car. Oh well, at least it's funny now rather than amusing. Rather than annoying. And then we need to do the other side again. Make that complete. And now we're ready to move on with other stuff. Question from Floor. How does your fam feel about you reserving this build for your streaming friends? I'm going to say not best pleased. So that there's a little bit of a complaint that downstairs right now I've got the Lego Technics Transporter. There's a Lego Technics Corvette. And I'm considering keeping all of them for this stream if I can hold off that long. Because I think this is going to take another 3 weeks to build like this. If I can hold off long enough, I want to bring those ones into this stream as well. And it's not necessarily happy family. But that's why I'm keeping it to the Technics ones, because maybe they're not going to complain too much of the Technics. If I ever brought a modular building onto this stream, I don't think I would want to be in the room when my partner found out, nor when my son found out. Okay, step 95. We now need 2 long white planks. We need our gray 1x4 full height. And we need these 2 interesting corner pieces that I still think belong on a roof more than a car, but we'll see how they go together. So along each side, we fit the white piece. If we don't, destroy the Porsche. We stick the white piece to the outside. We stick the gray piece across the middle. And the roof piece hanging over the connector block that we had before. So bring this one underneath so you can see better again. The white to the outside. The gray goes just a couple of bricks back so it lines up with here. And our corniche bit over the front. That's really starting to look like the back end of a car now. Can't wait to see it with the wheels on. And now we start to build the bumper. Oh, this is where it's going to start to look really cool. And this is where you have some wonderful Lego steps. I never understand these steps. I don't know if you can see that or not. But we have step 1, put the Lego plate on the table. Woo! Put the long black plate over the top of it. And then we get our snot pieces to go on the end so we can build out sideways in a second. And then we have 4 of these black planks with a satisfying knick. And we put it underneath the end. It's not bad. I'm starting to get used to building in a mirror image, staring at my screen instead of staring at the Lego. Yes, that's encouraging steps. Give you the sense of accomplishment. It's fine when you're building on your own. When you're building as a family and you've only got 2 pages of building before you have to pass it on to the next person, and half of that is put a plank on the table, it's just so annoying. And then we need to get our 2 corner pieces, and we're going to get some black bits to make it nice and smooth, which we're going to get lined up again. And put this on top like No, it's cool. I've just said I'm getting used to building in reverse on the camera, and then I get totally mixed up. So. Okay. It's starting to look like something. We now need to get our last two red dots and these two weird side things. And that goes, they go over the top. So they go in the middle. It gives us that nice classic shape. And we fill in the gaps with the red doppers. Maybe I should have done the red doppers first. That might have been a better idea. And then we make the back nice and smooth. And if we read the instructions, there you go, Jess. You say I put it in the right place. I don't put it in the right place. Oh, I'm sure you don't make that many mistakes. I know some of the Lego sets you've got and they're awesome. Let's see if I can actually follow the instructions properly. And before we put the middle bits on, we need to put these bits on the outside, which I'm guessing are going to hold lights or something to illuminate the number plate. Now when we put the smooth bits in the middle, hopefully, I have the right amount of places left over, like that. So this brings us to this point. And now we need to twist it upside down and fill in the gaps. So we have that one there. Put one on this side. Put two more planks up the side, which I almost missed. See, when you got black planks on there and you're not good at reading instructions, I can get lost so easily. The last two of our corner pieces, and they go around here. And then yellow doppies in the middle. Now, is this just filling up space? Or are those yellow doppies actually going to do something decorative? I always think most of the time these just fill up space so that you don't have weird bits hanging over. Now we need to get our corner pieces. What have I missed? I've missed stuff here. I've missed this step completely. So that would be two more rounded pieces. And on one side, only on one side, we have our little grill. So we stick our grill on there. And this comes like... I have gone wrong totally and utterly somewhere, and I don't know where. And I do know where. There you go, Jess. Me getting it totally wrong. That shouldn't have gone there. That should have gone one step out. And now I've got to try and figure out how to get this off without leaving my nails behind. That looks better. Let's see if we can do the same to the other side without destroying everything. Me on the men in my life, is this just taking up space or is this actually going to do something? I'm not saying anything to that. I'm just going to laugh. And try and get this, all in the right place. Wishing I had my Lego Fix-A-Bit ready for me to do stuff with. There we go. Almost there. Almost there. So after that brief interlude, I've managed to actually get the back end as it should be. Sorry about that. And now we can go to the next bit. We need 2 side pieces, which I'm guessing go that way around. And then we need our 2 wings. It's quite cool. Most of the mini space shuttles that you get are built out of these pieces. And I'm guessing that goes underneath there and gets mounted so. So this goes at the front and then gets mounted so it's flush here. And there we have almost half a bumper. Flip it upside down again. Now let's see if I can do this side better than I did the other side. I'm not convinced. At least I'm not going to make the same mistake with these ones again. They definitely just go at the edge. We have a long plank to go. You know what? Apparently I can get it wrong. No. I think that's right, she says, hopefully. Then we need to get the bumper overriders in place. So bearing in mind how big the bumper override is on this, is there any Porsche fans out there that can tell me, are these bumper overriders because it's based on an American Porsche, or did they have these in Europe as well? Not being the world's biggest Porsche fan when I was a teenager, I have no idea. Right, so now we need a long piece, we need our 2 bookshelves, and we need our corner pieces to finish off the strips on the inside. So let's start with the black strip that goes in the middle. And then these bookshelf bits go on sideways, allow us to do a little bit more snot. And just finish it off to the outside. That's looking rather like a bumper. And then we somehow have to mount this on the car. So this mounts up to those shoes that we just put in with the red spacer doppler. If I don't completely destroy the rest of the car, we'll put that one back on in a second. And there we have a much better representation of the back end of a Porsche. Now, where did this one go? I have the idea that this one went in there. I'm glad it's just Lego and not the real thing the way it breaks in the rear. Yeah. I've had enough cars with damage to the back of it. This is a lot easier to replace than that is. In fact, my previous car, I think 3 or 4 people tried to use it as a brake. That was not fun. So now we start to build the indicators up. So we get our Porsche sign. The Porsche sign's actually going on the car. A long strip. And we get the Dutch pieces. So we need to build up 2 of these indicators, giving them just a little bit of extra space. I think that's about square. We mount the Porsche badge in the middle of the strip. And then we start to mount all this to the car. So Porsche strip to the middle, put the indicators on the side. She says, hopefully. Wow. And that really is starting to look like the rear end of a car now. I love it when you do just a couple of bricks and suddenly it springs to life and starts to really take on the shape of what you're expecting. Step 112. Now we start to mount the rear lights and other pieces. So we need our 2 black shoes, more 2 rounded bits, and our lights for the back. So we need to build these up so that the rounded bits go over the shoe. And we mount these next to that. I don't know if you can see inside there, but it kind of has to match up a little bit with the bit that goes on slanted to make the armrests for the seat. Do the same on the other side. And then we can put on the rear lights. And then we have a car, which at least has a legal amount of lighting at the back of it. We've got our brake lights, our indicators. I'm sure there's reversing lights in there somewhere too. And it's ready to go. Now we get these special bits, the ones that they had to make especially for this set because they didn't have anything that covered it yet. One for each side. And these go over the top like so. I've always got to wonder, when they have to make some bits like this that you really need to get the classic line that you're looking for, are they going to find ways to include these in other sets as well? Or is this going to be one of those incredibly rare, hard to find bits for the future? Oh, lovely. And it seems that we have an amount of spam in here. I have no idea how. Does anybody know how to get rid of spam? How do I kick somebody? How can I be famous with 4 or 5 things? Thank you, Jess. No, 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 no. I don't want to show that to the world. Where can I do this? Where are we? Ban. That's 1. 2. This is why it's awesome to have somebody who can do this for you. I see why when we do the serverless days Amsterdam, having somebody that can do this is really useful. Is that the last one that I need to ban? Yay! I think I managed to ban all of them. Oh, that's... why do people do this? That is so annoying. Right, fun stuff. Let's build some more Lego. Let's get the rest of these side pieces on here and start to make it look really like the back end of a Porsche 911. And thank you for the help, everybody. And we'll do the same to the other side. And there we have it. That really is starting to look like a 911 now. Yay! Just finish off the last details for the side of the car. Make sure that it's straight. One trick that I have found for making these things straight when you're struggling with it is to just use your fingernails just to slide it down between the bricks. And if you're lucky, you can use your fingernail just to make sure they stay straight. Oh, it's an exhaust. that's what this bit is. We have our connector bit. We stick the cone into the back of it. We turn this upside down, hopefully without damaging everything. And slide it into place. So, is that right? Yeah. Then we have the exhaust sticking out of one side, which I guess is why we only have one of these vent pieces, because the exhaust comes onto the other side now. And that's it. That was bag 3 done and dusted. So let's hope that these 4 bits that I've got left over are bits that are supposed to be left over. I guess we'll find out. Drop them into here. And then let's hunt for bag 4 and start building what looks like an engine and front seats. Bag 5, bag 4. This is a bit why I hope there's only one bag 4 and not 2. One thing about clearing the desk first is somewhere to put the bags out of the way. Let's make weird sounds while Lego goes pinging across the room. So let the sorting begin. I'm sure they're giving us leftover pieces to buggers. It's the bit that I find really freaky with the leftover pieces is I know that sets have a set amount of pieces over. It's not actually the machine's not counting. I know people who have built things like the Statue of Liberty, and that comes with just a blank face on it. But people have got mods out there to actually put a face on the Statue of Liberty. And they do that using the spare pieces that come with every single set. So it's not even just a weird random thing of an extra Lego piece dropping through the machine. It's quite a deliberate choice. Maybe it's just to try and get us to think and make something cool with what's left over, like the Statue of Liberty thing. Yeah, like 2 times the same baggie. It's not so much 2 times the same baggie as literally just a collection of bricks which either are or aren't there. Well, they are there. I guess that's the point. So in the last bag, we had these left over. One of the cone pieces, a flat black and white, and 2 inches, one orange and one black too. And I just have to hope that they're supposed to be there and I'm not going to regret it later. I wonder how many sets I've built where I've got bits left over which shouldn't be left over, but they're just filler pieces that I don't notice. And yeah, the same for the tiny builds, even for the Lego advent calendars. Absolutely. I had the Star Wars advent calendar this year that I did with my son. I built the ships, he built the people. And there were always pieces left over from each of the day's builds that we had. In fact, on top of our piano now, we have lots of little Ziploc bags. And each bag has the spare pieces for one of the sets that we have. Not that we're ever likely to use them for anything unless we're building a different set and miss something, or my partner, my son are building something. They're way better at the Lego Master type builds than I am. They can see stuff and start to build it. We were watching Lego Masters this morning and they had to build a tower. And there's now a tower that's taller than my son in the middle of the living room that they spent the morning building whilst I watched on in awe. Should really get pictures of that. I can show them on here in between bags. I'll start that next week. So lots of little fiddly bits for this one again. I'm quite looking forward to seeing how these chairs go together. I'm assuming, of course, yeah, assuming, but I'm assuming that the bits that we built last week here that move, seeing as the Porsche is a 2+2, I'm guessing that allows us to move the seats forward so that you can get to the back seats. Isn't that a good creative challenge? Build something from all the leftovers. It would be if I could do it, but I can just never see what I want to build. And so I never quite know how to get started. It's something that, bearing in mind how much I love Lego, I am deeply ashamed of how bad I am at building stuff out of my own head. I can't see how you make things go sideways and upside down until the point where, well, instructions kind of tell me how to do it, I guess. I blame it on the fact that I have aphantasia, but I know enough aphants that are really amazing artists. So I guess that's not that much of an excuse. Then we have some nice bricks. I love these bricks. These always make really interesting shapes. On one side, you've got vertical grooves, and on the other side, you've got horizontal grooves. You use them a lot in the modular buildings to build stuff up there. You know what? I'm going to move these two over here as well because they're the same color. And build our cylinders up. The last few topias. And we're almost ready to start building an interior. Ah! She says as she fights pieces across the table. I swear sometimes Lego has a mind of its own. There we go. Let's get building the engine then. I'm going to say, I have built an amount of engines in my life. This is a much cleaner way of doing it than the ones I've had to build in the past. So we need to get a plank, a 2x3, and then put a 1x4 over the front of it. Stack another one on top. Again, why isn't that one step? The sound effects are great. I'm glad the sound of me screaming is good sound effects. It happens a lot when I build Lego, so that's a good sign. Start to build the base out with the 2x4 planks. And then we get these weird cool bits. Oh, it's the air-cooled engine, of course. Porsche 911 of this time would have had an air-cooled engine. So I guess these are the grooves on the side to cool it. And do the same on the other side. And realize that I've stopped reading the instructions and I'm now just looking at the building parts. I'll try and stop that. I'm guessing the red block in the middle is pure filler and you're not going to get to see that. We have a couple of 2x3s on the outside with a what? Is that a brown? That is a brown. A brown 1x2 in the middle. So if they go, where does this one go? This one goes here. And then these go to the outside of it and to the front, leaving the back open. Wow. And then we get a couple of studs and a couple of these little triangle pieces to try and make the back end look cool. I cannot see how this goes into the space. I wonder if it just simply sits on top of the bits we've already built. at what you're doing. So the base for our engine. Get the last 2 planks and build them across the top. Get another 4 of these doppiers and our... Okay, how do we describe this? It kind of looks like robot eyes that have popped out for a zoom. I have no idea what else to call that bit. Robot eyes sounds good. And we can get these mounted. The robot goes in the middle. And then we need to make 2 columns for either side. Like so. And then we build up the sides to make it a nice shape. Smooth everything off just a little bit. Put our engine cover over the top. And then we get to put our fan on the front of it. And that goes through the middle like so. Oh, it even spins. Even spins when you blow on it. Things that you can't do in Corona time. Blow on fans to make them spin anymore. And then mount that on the front like so. And then we get to mount our engine in the car. So we'll bring the chassis across. And it seems to mount round about... Does it drop down into there? I think it mounts low down on... So I'm guessing then this is the fan for the engine, and I'm guessing we're going to build up more engine across the top here. To be continued. So all that stress, how we're going to get the engine in there, and the answer is, well, you just drop it straight in. It's not a problem. Right, let's start on the interior then and get some front seats so that the driver can actually sit down. So we need our doppler with a hook. We need 1 of our round pieces, 1 1x3 flat, 1 1x2 with dopplers, and then we need to build down the center part of the car. So we mount this to the hook, and that goes in front of the back seats. And then we have the smooth bit, and then we have a bit that we can build on. And then we build, what, the handbrake? So we need the connector pipe. We need the clippy bit. And we need, what, 1 pole? So we put the pole into the connector bit. We slide that down over the top. And then we hook that in the middle. And then we can do handbrake turns, which is perfectly legal. And now we get to build the seats. I'm actually looking forward to this bit. I want to see how these seats go together. So put the chassis to the side for a second again. And let's get started. We have these upside down, says you hopefully. We have upside down curved bits. We're building 1 seat. I'm going to look ahead here. No, we really do build 1 seat at a time. So I'm guessing they're not symmetrical then. So we have our upside down bit and we stick our 1x2 on it. Again, making sure that it's straight. And then we start to build out. So we go underneath, over the top, Then we put a corner on there. And then we make the corner smooth. And build up the end piece. And we have one side of one seat. Put the headrest on. And then we start to build up the side. So we need 6 of these. These are generally used to build up walls in other Lego models that I've seen. They look kind of like some of the garden walls that you see that hold up the side of planters. So these go together. So, nope. Come on. Wow, this is fiddly. So, they don't quite meet in the middle. There's a gap behind them. And then we need to take a hook and another 1x2. Put the hook on top of the 1x2 and mount it. So I see. And this hook is what's going to go into this part of the car, and the whole seat is going to come forward so you can go to the back. It's not just the backrest that's going to swing forward, the whole thing's going to swing forward. Now we need to build up the other side. So we start with a hook. And then we build the corner piece onto it. And that starts to make it seem a lot more solid. And then we get a 1x3 to build up to the top. And then we make it smooth on the outside. Sounds like a dime bar. Smooth on the outside, crunchy in the middle. Put our corner pieces on. And there is one Porsche 911 seat. Now, which side does that go on? That goes on the... Yeah, well, I've got that totally backwards, haven't I? Ah. There you go. More sound effects. Ah. OMG! Hello, Jeff. I was not expecting to see you here this afternoon. How are you doing? And we have the back seat of my SUV is like a pair of planters, so it makes sense to me that that brick is used. I love it. It's which SUV do you have? It's a one type of car that I've never driven that much of. I've done off-roading a couple of times, but I've never had one myself. And I've completely got this wrong now, and it refuses to come apart. So in a minute, you're going to get real sound effects, Flora, and I'm going to need somebody to kind of beep for me as I get really frustrated and start to take it out on the Lego. Come on. Ah! I won't make this mistake on the second seat. Right, that's out at least. Let's try putting the Lego back together. And let's put this in the right place this time, shall we? This seat comes forward. That's better. And then this seat just tips forward a little bit so that you can get into the back. I wouldn't like to squeeze my legs through there, but you know, it's a 2 + 2, so what can you take? I don't know where my take a party bit is. It's somewhere in the bag, I suspect. Either that or I took it downstairs and forgot to bring it back upstairs with me. So right now I'm just destroying my nails. It's a good job I'm not trying to grow them. So, after that amount of stress, shall we start on the next seat? Let's see if I can do this one any better. I now see why we build the two ones differently. Because this one, you can still see the Lego on the inside, but the outside's all nice and smooth. So I'm guessing this one we're going to build the opposite way. So seat number 2, we need to get another upside downy bit. and put a 1x2 plank on. You have a Nissan Armada. I'm not sure I know what that one is. You enjoy driving it? And do you take it off-road? So there's the start of it, and then we get to the fiddly bits again. Trying to build around the corner and then getting it into an actual seat. So where are we? We're lost. That's where we are. We build around the corner. We make it smooth. And then build it up with a doppler at the end. Put the headrest on again. And then we have more of the back seats of Jeff's car. And we try and mount these and see whether or not it works better than on the first seat. Oh, very nice. It's the largest SUV they make. We do take it off-road because we use it to tow a horse trailer. I really love to see people using SUVs for what they're actually designed for. I used to know somebody had a really beautiful, I think it was showing my age, back in the 90s, an Isuzu Trooper. And he actually went from a sports car to the SUV, and lots of people laughed at him for doing so. But he loved taking that thing off-road. It's that was so much fun to go with him. So we have our walls in place as seats, and now we can put, the fun bits on and see whether or not we can mount these the right way around this time. So we mount the hook underneath, stick it onto the bottom of the chair. And then we try and build the other side up and make it look a little bit neat. So we'll put the hook on again. And then we do the corner. That's nice. Once you get that corner in, this feels really quite solid. So you can start to press it down again and make sure everything's in place. And then we finish off the outside as before with the smooth bits to just to finish it off. And then if the Lego behaves, we can bring it over here and we can mount the second seat and make sure that we have that on the right side first. Yeah, well, yeah, it's in. I've just destroyed it. Did I get that in right? Yeah. Let's see. It connects in there, and then you can flip it forward. And that, I believe, is bag 4. And again, we have 4 bits left over. Should they be left over? Should they not? We'll stick them here for safekeeping just in case. Now, looking at the time, I've got time to do bag 5. So shall we get on with the sorting again? And I know that bag 5 actually has 2 lots of stuff in it. We have one bag 5. And then we have a second. So I think this one might be a bit of a longish build. And it looks like we're going to, can we see that? We're going to be building the front bumper and actually mounting the front axles and the steering wheel. Then we have the question, is the steering wheel actually attached to the wheels, or is it just for show? We'll find out, I guess. Stick the bags to the back again. Stay tuned for more. We'll sort those 2 bags in a minute. Oh, wow. That is a new bit for me. I have never seen that shape of brick before. I don't know if that's also specifically for this set or not, but That's a little bit different than the normal plastic windowy bits that you get. Lots more corner pieces, of course, because we're about to make a nice rounded front end of the car. Now, the question is, can I actually put the front end bits in as well as I put the back end bits? Or is it all going to go horribly, horribly wrong like it did last time? Some more Lego Technics bits that I guess is going to be adding a little bit of strength to the car. Lots of Lego Technics bits. This bit's going to be quite an interesting build then, I guess. So normal planks, more Lego Technics, lots of different connecting rods. I guess in this is the base to the floor, to the boot in the front. What do you call that when you got the boot in the front? Is that a frunk or something? More planks, more Technics connecty bits. I'm trying to put all the Technics-y kind of bits onto one side so we can see them all together. Eek. There you go, more sound effects floor. Here for the car puns. I'm not sure I can do car puns. At least not deliberately. If I do any, okay, I'll take them. The frunk. Who ever thought of the name frunk? I can see where it comes from, the front trunk, but I don't know if it's my English ears, but it sounds really weird. It's frunky. Your younger daughter loves cars with frunks. Is that as in loading all of the luggage into the front of the car and just instead of where the engine should be? We have more Lego snot bits for the back. This looks like it could be used to mount front steering. So I don't know if the wheels are just going to move or whether or not it's actually going to be connected to the steering wheel. I'm really curious to find out. I might be hyping this up too much. It might be really disappointing when it's not actually connected to anything. In which case, you know, I'll apologize in advance. So lots and lots of tiny little planks for this one. Lots of chances for me to start swearing as they go bing across the room. Some more Lego snot. Lots of different ways of doing Lego snot on this part of the build. We have these wonderful ones that you can mount and then you can build sideways out of the back of. And then we have these ones that just looks like a 2x2 full-size block, but you can still build sideways. I'm from OX12B. Managed to catch one of the streams. And welcome. Glad you could join us. And you're lucky. It's we're just starting the bag where we start on the front end and start looking at steering. So I didn't know if I was going to do 2 or 3 bags today. I think if I'd have if it had been 10, 20 minutes later after the first 2 bags, I possibly wouldn't have done the 3rd bag because I think this one might take us a little bit of time. And what model are we building? We're building the new Lego Creator Expert Porsche 911, which is, see if I can pick the box up without knocking everything over. So it's this box. And it is the 10295 set, a 1500 piece Porsche 911, which, and I'm going to let Twitter decide this one, I think, you can either build to a Targa top or to the turbo version. And I cannot decide which one I'm going to build. So putting it out on a Twitter poll seems like, yeah. I don't know if it's quite an interesting way of doing it or if I'm just being a complete coward and not being able to make a decision. One of the two. Some more Lego Technicsy type bits here. Wow. This is really quite a decent sized bag. I'm starting to wonder where I'm actually going to be doing my building for this, because it's the sorted bits are taking up all of the space on my table right now. I so desperately need a bigger table. We have another bookshelf, some more connecty bits. So what do you think? Do you think I should research what the names of the Lego things are, or do you think I should just carry on calling them connecty bits, weird bits, as we go along and trying to make it up as I find new pieces? And yep, that's new. We have more Technics. I saw one of these with a cross in the middle before, so I'm guessing this is going to have something impaled through it. We have a vote for Stacy names. I can carry on trying to make up things as I go along. Of course, you always run the risk of they're going to change names week to week if I can't remember what I called it the week before. I'm not keeping track of these things. We have a couple of discs for the front brakes. Now, I think I'm going to do it slightly differently this time. These two bags that we have left over, I'm going to leave these ones closed until it actually, until we need the bits inside of them, because I literally have no space left on my desk now. Right, let's get building then. So we're going to start with, and I think we're going to start with bits which are actually inside of those two bags that I've just said. So we are going to open them after all. A Stacy Names Glossary. Does that mean I've got to look back on my streams and try and figure out what names I've used and register a website for this? StacyLegoNames.com. Oh, these are fiddly. We have another hook. We have a gear. Now, if we have a gear, I'm guessing that means that the steering wheel must be connected. I'm going to put myself out on a limb here. We have connected steering. It's going to be so funny if I'm wrong. Some triangle smooth bits. Wow, this is a lot of different bits. Eek. Where am I going to build? I think I'm just going to have to build on top of the book at this rate, because it's just going to be absolute chocker with Lego in front of me. Some more Connecty Technics bits over the side. Some ball joints. So, the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking, yeah, this must be connected steering. We even have a universal joint here. If that doesn't say connected steering, then I don't know what does. Lots and lots of connected bits. Almost done. a second cog, fingers which have stopped working for picking up little pieces. Some connected bit spacers, another ball joint. I had a load of ball joints. Where did they go? And our last few pieces of... Right, let's try this one again then. So we need to build two things here. So we need two squares. We need our two 1x2s that we can impale. These bits. And apparently I'm supposed to have two of these, which is fun because I can only see one. Oh no, I do have one of these. It's just being annoying. Phew. For a second there, I got rather worried. And then I'm back to, I've got to say this. We have steps which have put the plank on the table, and now we have one step which says build two things and stick it on, and while you're at it, stick this one completely unrelated thing into the side. So then we need to put the brown steps at the back, the hinges at the front, and then we need to get our chassis across. So here's the chassis. Hopefully you can see this. Our impaly bits go to the side. And the bits that we just built go in front, like so. Come on, we can do this. And then this goes through there. I'm guessing that's going to hold something to do with the steering wheel going down to the front. That's the first page out of the way. And now we build, wow, the complete front chassis. See if I can move this without knocking everything over. We're going to be building up this entire section here. I am going to go wrong several times over the course of the next half an hour. I don't know whether or not to say you've been warned or start the comedic music as I make mistake after mistake after mistake. Let's get started. We need a Lego Technics bit. And we need 4 of these connectors. And they go in the outside holes. This one is at least doable. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we need the last bag. So we really do have to get everything out all at one time here. But I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to sort these pieces. I'm going to just leave them lying down. And I'm going to swear when I can't find the bits that I look for. This is why you need an Elgato Stream Deck, isn't it? So that you can just swear as you need to and press the button for the beeps. The phone version works quite nicely, but it's not quite as cool. So we need one of these orange pieces, and that goes in from the back. And then we need a light yellow connecty bit with a different colored front. A light yellow connector bit, which I cannot see on my table. This is where it starts to get interesting. Do they mean that? I think they mean that. So that goes into the back, and then that turns. So I'm guessing... Okay. The next step, we need to bring these gray Technics pieces over. And we need to connect them with the ball and socket joints on the end with the socket facing upwards, like so. One on each side. So I think that is about right. Then we need to build a pit to put onto the front of it. So we'll leave that there for a second. We need this red piece. Oh, I'm sorry, that's slightly out of camera view. Apologies. Organize bigger desk. That's going to happen sometime in the future. We need our khaki green Technics bit, our 2 red ball joints. We need, I'm guessing, 2 red spacers. We need 1 of these cross round connector bits. Bright green connector bit. And 2 gray connector bits. These 2. Let's start to put this together then. So we start with putting the gray connector bits on each end. That's at least fairly easy. Then we put the 2 ball sockets or 2 ball joints in the middle. Mount these extension pieces to the back, making sure that the black one's on the right way because it only fits one way. Put our crossbar to the front. And put our extension like so. And then this goes into, how does that mount? That mounts like so onto there. A little bit of movement left and right now. Let's see how much that stays. Step 159, we need to build 2 axles. So let's put that bit to the side and just get what we need to build the axles. So we need these 2 brown connector bits. We need 2 tie bars, our triple ball joints, and our brake discs. We start with putting, let's see if we can get this the right way around. The brown connector piece through the ball joints like so. Then we put the brake discs on the front. Like so. Says she, hopefully. Oh, this is fiddly and annoying. And then from the top joint, we put the tie bar backwards. We do that on both of them. So like so. And then these have to get mounted into the rest of the chassis. So these mount so that the last ball joint sticks to the back, it's flat to the front. And then these and I've just realized I mounted these wrong. These don't go to the top, these go to the side. Like so. And there's our steering lock. So it does have some kind of steering in it. Let's get this one and mount it on the side. So again, it goes on the middle one. We mount it with the last remaining ball to the top and to the side. And there we have, well, I'm assuming when we connect it up to the other side, kind of working steering. Now we make a bit of a steering box by the looks of it. So we need a black connector bit. We need one of our white bits, white connector bits, and we stick it in the side. Do we stick it that way? We do. Hey, I got it right completely by accident. We stick the yellow connecting bar on and we slide one of these over that yellow bar. Then we mount this in the middle. And then let me guess, we do the same on the opposite side. We do. We build it up the same as we did on the other side. Only we build it up correctly because I didn't do that on that side. These holes have to be vertical. And we finish it off with the last one there. Now we need to build the bit that sticks out the front. And for that, we need one red connector bit, one of these orange bits, and that slides into the middle like so. And this gets mounted. How does this get mounted? It goes through the middle. Like that. So that sits between the two front wheels. Hopefully keeping them a little bit in line, I guess. Then we get the first steering cog. That gets slid onto the front. And there's our steering. Yay, it does have steering. That's so cool. I got it right completely by accident. Yeah, story of my life too. It's nice when you can get it right by accident. It's just a shame that I then got it totally wrong on purpose. But hey, you can't have everything, can you? Now we build the bright yellow bits on top. Could be Bumblebee rather than a Porsche 911, this yellow. And hey, it's based on the same kind of platform. Volkswagen Beetle, Porsche 911. And for that, we need some two more of these connector bits and two blue ones. The blue ones, you always have to make sure you get the right way around. Otherwise, you really get into trouble with them. We're going to put the black ones on the end. And the blue ones go short end into this yellow bar. Like so. And then we get these yellow bits, which are kind of the same as our gray bits that we had underneath. And they have to get mounted facing downwards. Interestingly enough, when we mounted the gray ones, they gave us a big warning about make sure you mount these the right way around. This time, no such warning. But I did mount it wrong. So let's try that one again, shall we? Then we put two of these blue ones through the back, so they go all the way through to the front. Stick out of the back to help mount us onto something else. We get some nice shiny spaces for the back here. Almost silvery in color. And we've got floor learning new party facts about cars. Would that be the fact that the 911 and the Bug are based on the same kind of idea? Same designer, Ferdinand Porsche. And then we put the blue connectors short side into the silver. Yeah, what I'm going to say, I am a complete car geek. It's Maybe not as much as I was 10 years ago, because modern cars I don't necessarily find that interesting. Is that a sign I'm getting old when you start to go, cars in my time? But growing up with a mechanic as a father and always having classic cars in the garage that he was restoring, it kind of got me hooked a little bit on classic cars. Now we have these, we get to mount it. And how do we mount it? I love it when you just get an arrow saying, put it on. And I was like, yeah, awesome. Put it on how? I'm guessing it's just mounted directly to the top of the steering joints. Something like that. And there we have steering, which does kind of work. Not that much movement in it, but it does kind of work. Then we need to lock everything off with some more of these locking pins. Fun fact, the Millennium Falcon uses these all over the place. You have to kind of half put the Millennium Falcon together, and then at the last minute, you can just go click, 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 click to put 5 or 6 things into place at the same time. So these go through from back to front, she says, hopefully. Come on. There we go. To lock it all into place. I've completely lost this. Like, why won't you go into that hole? I'm trying to get it into here, and it's fighting me. Oh, this is fiddly. There we go. Locking it together. I hope I've not done any of this wrong, because dismantling this is going to be an absolute nightmare. So then we have to switch it upside down. We need 4 more of these orange connectors, which is good because we only have 4. And we need 2 of these kind of connecting bar things. And we have to join these together. So we make one humongously long connecty piece. And these go in between the middle here, again, all the way through. So that hooks it through from front to back again. And there we have a fairly solid piece with just a little bit of movement in the middle. So we've got floor, loving the colors that we're using. I'm loving the Technics that we're using. This is really the first time that I've done this much with Technics Lego. Colors are fantastic, but I'm starting to see the possibilities that you have with Technics Lego that you just don't have with normal Lego. I really can't wait to get started on that transporter now. And then we have to mount this to the front of the car somehow. How does this mount? Is that really it? Does it just go through this one hole? Ah, no, let's take that out. So we have, if we pull this one out, 4 different connection points. So these blue ones have to line up, this red one has to line up, and this orange one has to line up. And that is an absolute nightmare. I remember this from the Millennium Falcon 2, trying to get stuff to line up. And there we have it. The steering is mounted to the front of our car, and it looks kind of like an alien from the front now. That looks something more like a sci-fi set than a car on the front. I guess it's all going to be used in a minute. Step 178. What are we building here now? Here we're building the steering arm, or the steering column. Steering arm. My dad would tell me off. How can I get steering column wrong? So we need a short yellow connecting piece, and we need our small cog, and we need to put those together. like so. Then we have a Technics piece with a hole in it that we go through the middle. And then we got our universal joint. And we have to mount that like so. And here's a fun thing with the universal joint. It just means that when you twist or when you turn, it transfers that turning force around a corner. And driving an old classic Spitfire, universal joints are the bane of my life because they don't last as long as modern CV joints, and they're an absolute pain to get changed. Not something you can just do in the garage by yourself. Put the long yellow connector piece on, and then we use our first spacer. Actually, we use a small gray spacer, and then we use a longer red spacer. Then we need a cross piece. That would be this one, I guess. That goes so. We use a spacer to lock it off. And then we have a sleeve and our last red connecting pin. And our second cross to circular connector. Can I show that? Yeah, something like that. And that mounts on the side there. This is going to have to go into the car at some point. I have no idea how. So now we need to bring this back over onto the car. And that mounts on there. The steering column mounts on there. And that doesn't connect. Why don't you connect? What have I done wrong there? Ah, it's because it goes on at an angle. This isn't fiddly at all. How on earth is this going to be kept in place? I've done something wrong somewhere. If you look at the side, I think when we finished this bit off, I saw the cross bit there, but now I'm looking at my model here. I don't actually see this cross bit. So I wonder if I need to take this one off again. Let's go back and look at the previous page before it went on. And there you go, Jess. How wrong can you go? No, it doesn't. See, this is a cross that I put on both sides at the beginning, and I shouldn't have done. I should only have put it on one side. So we'll take this one off, and we'll put it to the side again. And now when we try and mount this, that's better. And we now have working steering. And I suspect the next instruction is going to be to use our second one of these and to lock the steering column in place. Like so. And put our steering wheel on the front. And there we have it. Working Lego steering. How cool is that? And Floor's been building the Women in NASA sets, the one that I gave the talk about, or the one that I used in the talk for International's Women's Day a couple of weeks ago now, 8th of March that was. Do I still need to apologize, Floor, for the money that you spent on that? Or am I forgiven yet? And you've got the TARDIS coming. Yeah, it's so weird. I have the TARDIS downstairs and I'm still jealous that you're going to go get to build it. I'm going to have to dismantle that one. That one's being done on a Sunday afternoon. I absolutely love that set. What about if I like try and do a little bit of a sweet voice and go, sorry? Or is that just more sorry, not sorry? Right, the last bit to do for this set then, I guess, is build up that massive front bumper that's got to go into the car. So let's get on with that one. 15 minutes of the stream left. Can we build it in time? So we need our red plank and the Technics bit across the top. I can see where that one's going to go on the car. Our Technics blue bar goes across the front, sticking out the same on both sides. And then we need to get our beige 1x4 planks, start to build it out sideways. And we finish off by getting a couple of red lanterns. Not green lanterns, red lanterns, and stick it to the edge. Hashtag Team Marvel here. Sorry, Jimmy. And then across the top of there, we get all of our Lego snot pieces, these black rounded pieces, and we start to build from one end to the other. So that we just have a big, long section that we can build on to the front of our car. Apparently, I've done that wrong. How have I done that wrong? Let's try bringing it over one brick each way. That's looking more like it. And then we need to fill in the two gaps in the middle like so. I'm in Margaret Hamilton featuring in the background during Floor's calls. I want to be on these calls just so I can look at the Lego. I think at some point I'm going to have to try and have two positions for my desk so I can use my chalkboard when I need to actually draw on the chalk and have Lego on the shelves when I don't need to. Kind of have a desk that I can spin around 90 degrees when I want to. Next, we need to get two of our shiny black pieces and put them on the inside here. And then we mount these massive, massive indicators on the side. I don't know. Are Porsche drivers like BMW drivers, or do they actually use their indicators? And I say that as a BMW driver. I try and confuse people by using mine. Next, we need to build up a bit to go into the middle there. So we have a plank on top of a dark gray 1x8 full height thing. And then we do the Lego snot pieces again, which is fun because these Lego snot pieces are actually going to get the studs back in the right direction. It's snot on top of snot. We mount that into the middle like so. And then we mount the two pieces that we forgot to do in the last one. For the front. That strange noise you heard was the paper that I had moved to the back of my desk suddenly going flush onto the floor. Because why not? And then we get to finish off our bumper at the front. So we need a shiny piece and we need a corner piece. So put this on each side. to finish off the front. That's kind of starting to look kind of cool. And then we put it to the side for a second whilst we build up some more bodywork. And we have, how do you just pronounce that as OX12B? Wish I had some Lego to build. Cleaning out and sorting your desk drawers is nowhere near as fun. I can totally see that. If it helps, after I finish this stream, I've got to go and do my tax returns. That's really not as much fun. I'd rather stay doing this all afternoon, but apparently the taxman wants to know. So we have, again, another step. Let's just stick the Lego on the book. Start to build these bits up. And then we have 4 of these half smooth pieces that we use to connect them in the middle. Like so. And then we get to build corners. Can I build the corners better than I did last time? That's kind of the question. So here we need our round bits, which go here and here. And then we put red round bits on the inside. And these mount like so. Then we need to build a sandwich. Let's make a sandwich. We sandwich the red hooks into the white piece and then finish it off the right way around, Stacy, with hooks. And we mount that one in the middle. So it just sticks out slightly at the front. Next step is to put these 2 connected bits in upside down. And then turn it around. And then we mount it up like so. Oh, that's not looking too bad. You pronounce it as, but now I've got to, do you pronounce the last E or is that a silent E? Simmer. Simmer? Oh, I love it. That's the error code for the blue screen of death. And it is simmer. Thank you. Sometimes my English accent destroys non-English names. I'm really, really, truly sorry if I do that to people. Now we get to finish off underneath with a couple of blue bars. I don't think it's, I love the fact that that's the error code for the blue screen of death. I don't love that I've seen the blue screen of death several times this week on my machine, but I love that that's the, your screen name is the error code. So now we need to make another connection out of Technics pieces, and that mounts underneath here like so in the middle. And then we build up the outside. Wow, this is a massive bag. This bag has taken longer than the other 2 bags put together, I think. So we need a couple of corner pieces. We need a couple of these triangular pieces. 2 more shiny black pieces. Thank you, Flo. It's I cheat slightly. Not only does that have a meaning in English, but one of the first people I met when I moved to Holland 21 years ago, her name was also Flo. So I've had 21 years of practicing that one. And how do we put this together? We have them going each side of the car like so. And we mount the triangles to the side, make sure that they're straight. Do the same on this one too. Straighten that up. Mount the flat inches to the side. And you can actually use a table to flatten these off to make sure that they're totally straight. And then we have a black bar in between, and these get mounted up like so. Covering up the wonderful red. I love red. But I guess we're not supposed to see it here. And put in the black bar in the middle. Then we flip it. We get 2 half traffic lights, also for snot. And we mount them at the end sticking out. If I can keep my fingers under control. And then we start to make the top look a little bit neater. So we need 2 1x6s. And a couple of red pieces and a couple of ducks. Wah, wah, inches. We mount the white bits to the outside. Put the red bits on, and then we use, they get mounted so. So the white bits connect and the red bits connect on there, holding it in 2 different places. Get some shiny bits for the front now. I'm guessing this is where the motor cap's going to go on for the front. And then we need to build up some more interesting side bits. We need 2 of these. So we have 2 corner pieces. Two black 1x2s on top. 2 brown 1x2s underneath. We have another grate on the side, like Frosties. And then we put a white triangle piece on there to smoothly get down to the bottom. And that gets mounted in this. Don't break it, Stacy. And they get mounted in here. Shall we mount this the right way around? Which way around does that go? That does go that way around. That's a shame. I thought that was going to help keep that black piece in the bottom. Much less ground. Aw. I love your name. So now we have this set up. Now we come to the fun bit of trying to get it onto this alien here. Wish me luck. I'm not looking forward to this bit. Because of that. Everything is just far too mobile to try and get everything in. Join us next week when Stacey's still trying to get this to go together. There we go. Wow, that's really starting to look like a car chassis now. We have our front bumper, the back wings, the working steering, and we're still not finished with this bag. And we have a cool little tidbit of information here. Originally named the 901, it was renamed the 911 as another manufacturer claimed a trademark on zero-digit names. As the owner of a Peugeot 205, I can't imagine what other manufacturer that could be. I was a past owner of a Peugeot 205. Unfortunately, that one left me about 22 years ago now. Let's start to give this a little bit of strength then. So we have our black connecting bar, which goes across the top, gives us a little bit of top to bottom strength. Finish off the last space. Whoops, you can't see that, can you? Finish off the last space here with a brown 1x2. And then we get our last two red 2x3s. Mount them in front of these hinges that we put on. I can't believe we've still got so much left to build here. This is really quite wow. We get our front cover. We put the 2x4 grey in the back, and that should mount onto here. And I've broken this bit yet. This is going to fall off constantly. I am going to get so annoyed at this over time. That's as bad as the back end that kept on falling apart, but I get the impression this one doesn't have anything else on it to keep it in place. Then we have some interior bits that we can put on. So these go right to the back here and go up to the front of our this is in the wrong place. That has to go back one step. And then we have one shiny piece to go across here. I'm starting to get this a little bit cleaned up now. And now we get to build more corner pieces. I might cry. So we need to build these two. We have these weird kind of almost gold nugget bars on them, which go symmetrically into the middle. The shiny pieces which go behind there. I've done this wrong, haven't I? But we can save it by swapping them around. The shiny triangles go next to each other. And then we need some more of these half shiny white squares. Half shiny white square bits. Finish it off with some, I don't know what to call these. It's a 1x4 with two doppies on top. And a wonderful mix of Dutch and English together. We'll do the same on both sides. And that's it, I think. This now needs to get mounted to the front. How does this get mounted to the front? Like so? That kind of looks like it could be it, doesn't it? Do the same on the other side. We're kind of getting there, I think. And we need to get our, yeah, that's still in camera. Our two fans, which go on here, and they go sloping towards the car, or down towards the car, the front. And now we need to build the gearbox. And this is where we needed that second one, the one that I put on wrong right at the start. Because, you know, me. We need that black bit. We need a connecty bit, a ball joint, a hook, and that's it. So we stick the ball joint into the connector bit. We put the connector bit onto the hook, and the hook goes into there, and there's our gear stick, which gets mounted in the middle of the car. I guess it's an automatic, so it only goes forward and back, a sequential gearbox. Now we get to build a little bit of the center console here. So we'll put the chassis to one side again, and we need 3 1x2s, 1 2x2, an upside down black slopey piece, a beautiful sky blue hook and shiny piece, some beige knot, and a brown slope, and a bookshelf. Let's get this put together then, shall we? So the slope goes on top of the brown bit. We finish it off with the nice blue Lego bits there. That really is a beautiful color. Mount up the 2 1x2s. Put the bookshelf T-piece over the top and finish it off with the brown 2x2 underneath. Twist it to the side. Mount the snot piece in sideways. Where does this go? This one goes on here. I missed step 6. And this gets mounted like that in the middle. We'll see what that turns into in a second. Oh, and that's it for bag 5. We've actually reached the end, and I must have done something wrong, so I'm going to have to go over this when I'm offline, because I have way too many pieces left over. This shiny piece cannot be left over. I've never seen that in one of the bags. The other small pieces I can believe. This one, not so much, so I've missed it somewhere. Please tell me I don't have to take that gearbox apart. And so, yay, it works. I'm back to the main camera. Well, that's a little bit longer than I was hoping to be streaming today. That's 3:10. So I am all going to let you get on and enjoy your Sunday afternoons, or what's left of it. And I'm going to go and do my tax returns. Yay. Have a wonderful afternoon and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you, Floor. This is, it's a shame. I can't build Lego standing up, and I really don't want to stand up for 2 hours because then I'm going to be in pain. But this is another one of my 50s dresses. You just can't see most of the dress part of it. So the skirt actually matches the top. Oh, you don't need to apologize. I can go off top it onto 50s dresses too. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have fun, everybody. And thank you for joining me. And I've put this in a schedule now, so I'm going to try and keep to this slot. 1 till 3 on a Sunday afternoon until it gets to the summer and my family really complains that I'm destroying the weekend. And then I might have to think of something else. So, as Floor so succinctly puts it, see y'all next week. Bye-bye.